The story of America's rise from scattered colonies to a global superpower is one of ambition, resilience, conflict, innovation, and transformation. Subscribe for more. It is a journey that began with fragile settlements along the Atlantic coast and evolved into the emergence of one of the most powerful nations in modern history. This transformation did not happen overnight. It was shaped by revolution, expansion, industrial growth, war, economic strength, and technological leadership. In the early 1600s, European settlers began establishing permanent colonies in North America. The British founded Jamestown in 1607, followed by Plymouth in 1620. Over time, 13 colonies stretched along the eastern seaboard. Though under British control, these colonies developed their own economies and local governments. Trade, agriculture, and self-governance helped create a unique colonial identity. However, tensions grew as Britain imposed taxes and regulations without colonial representation. By 1775, resistance had turned into open conflict. The American Revolution marked the first major step toward nationhood. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence announced that the colonies were breaking away from British rule. After years of war, the United States secured independence in 1783. A new constitution was drafted in 1787, establishing a federal government built on democratic principles and separation of powers. The foundation of a new nation had been laid, yet independence was only the beginning. The young republic faced internal challenges, economic instability, and political division. Despite these obstacles, the country began expanding westward. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 doubled the size of the nation. Explorers, settlers, and pioneers moved across vast territories in search of opportunity. This expansion fueled economic growth, but also led to conflict with Native American tribes and intensified debates over slavery. The 19th century was marked by rapid transformation. The Industrial Revolution reshaped American society. Railroads connected distant regions, factories increased production, and cities grew rapidly. Immigration surged, bringing millions from Europe, seeking freedom and economic opportunity. America's economy expanded dramatically, making it one of the world's leading industrial powers by the late 1800s. However, growth came with deep divisions. The issue of slavery ultimately led to the Civil War in 1861. The war tested the survival of the nation itself. After 4 brutal years, the Union victory preserved the United States and ended slavery. Reconstruction attempted to rebuild the South and integrate formerly enslaved people into society, though racial inequality persisted for generations. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the United States began extending its influence beyond its borders. The Spanish-American War in 1898 marked a turning point, signaling America's emergence as an overseas power. Territories such as Puerto Rico and the Philippines came under U.S. control. The nation was no longer isolated. It was stepping on to the global stage. World War I further elevated America's role in international affairs. Though initially neutral, the United States entered the war in 1917 and helped secure an Allied victory. After the war, America experienced economic prosperity during the 1920s, only to face the devastating Great Depression in 1929. Massive unemployment and economic collapse shook the nation. President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal programs aimed to stabilize the economy and restore confidence. The true transformation into a superpower came during and after World War II. The attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941 brought the United States fully into the conflict. American industry mobilized on an unprecedented scale, producing weapons, vehicles, and supplies that fueled the Allied war effort. When the war ended in 1945, much of Europe and Asia lay in ruins. But the United States emerged economically strong and militarily dominant. It possessed advanced industrial capacity, a powerful navy and air force, and nuclear weapons. In the post-war era, the United States became a central leader in global politics. It helped establish international institutions such as the United Nations and played a key role in rebuilding Europe through the Marshall Plan. However, a new rivalry quickly emerged with the Soviet Union. The Cold War defined much of the second half of the 20th century. The United States and the Soviet Union competed for global influence, engaging in proxy wars, nuclear arms races, and ideological conflict. During this period, America also experienced significant social change. The Civil Rights Movement, challenged racial segregation and discrimination. Leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr. pushed the nation closer to its founding ideals of equality. Meanwhile, technological achievements, most notably the moon landing in 1969, demonstrated American innovation and scientific leadership. The late 20th century saw the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, leaving the United States as the world's sole superpower. Its economy, military, and cultural influence extended across the globe. American companies led advancements in technology, computing, and the internet. Hollywood, music, and media shaped global culture. The US dollar became the dominant global currency. In the 21st century, new challenges emerged. The attacks of September 11, 2001 reshaped American foreign policy and security priorities. Wars in Afghanistan and Iraq tested military strength and national unity. At the same time, globalization, technological innovation, and economic competition with rising powers such as China created a more complex world order. America's rise from colonies to superpower was driven by several key factors: geographic advantage, abundant natural resources, waves of immigration, political stability, industrial innovation, military strength, and a flexible economic system. Yet its rise was not without contradictions. The nation struggled with inequality, racial injustice, economic crises, and political division. Its power brought both opportunity and responsibility on the global stage. What makes America's story unique is its ability to adapt. From a group of fragile settlements, it built a constitutional democracy. From a divided nation torn by civil war, it became an industrial giant. From economic collapse, it rebuilt stronger. From global conflict, it emerged as a leader in shaping international institutions. The rise of America reflects both ambition and endurance. It is a story of ideals, liberty, democracy, opportunity combined with practical strength in industry, science, and defense. The transformation from colonies to superpower took centuries of struggle and innovation. It was shaped by ordinary citizens, visionary leaders, entrepreneurs, soldiers, and reformers. Even today, the process continues. Superpower status is not static. It requires constant renewal. Economic competition, technological change, and global challenges demand adaptation. The journey that began with 13 small colonies has evolved into a complex global presence. From wooden settlements along the Atlantic coast to skyscrapers and modern cities, from horse-drawn wagons to space exploration, America's rise represents one of the most dramatic national transformations in world history. It is a story of expansion, resilience, conflict, and influence, a nation continually redefining itself while shaping the world around it.